The lanky, haggard-looking officer with sunken cheeks stares at you in fright. His body is shivering as if from a feverish chill, and his eyes are darting back and forth anxiously. Your lordship, rogue traitor, what brings you to our humble ship? Stop shivering like a leaf in the wind, Monkey. Answer me. Have you seen others like me in this system? If you have, tell me where, when, and under what circumstances your path crossed and diverged afterwards. The officer's eyes widen at the sight of Irliet. His face grows even paler than before, and his lips move in a wordless prayer, unable to utter a word in response. Heinrich sets his hand on his weapon and nods at the trembling officer. I've seen people like this before, afraid of their own shadow. More than that, I've turned my underlings into this. He has been tortured. Easy, Elliot. We are about to find out. Please hurry, Ellentalk. Irliet breaks off. The officer swallows, gives you a strange look, and then closes his eyes. Emperor, forgive me. Dang it. Another ambush. Marazai.
I'm beginning to think that your kind is eager to step into our snares.
You gasp, sucking in the poisoned air, each breath scorching your insides with liquid fire from the throat to lungs. Every cell in your body is engulfed in maddening pain, as if you are being doused in molten metal, skinned alive, and subjected to yet another form of torture. You hear sounds coming from somewhere far away, the moans of your people, the shuffling of bare feet, and light footsteps slowly getting closer. Rogue trader. A long-awaited meeting indeed. You can barely see anything through the haze of agony, but you still remember the voice well. The voice of the Xenos, who devastated your capital world. Marazai's face is hidden behind a helmet, but his tone leaves no room for doubt. He is smirking. Irliet, who is writhing in pain next to you, is barely able to breathe out. No. What have you done? Are you dissatisfied, my kin? I promised that you would have your precious craft world survivors, and so you will. I will take you to them. I might even be there to witness your jubilant reunion. Damn you. Heinrich growls hoarsely as he tries to get up, driven more by rage than by physical strength. I will strangle you both myself. Marazai nonchalantly kicks the arm of Heinrich is using to prop himself up, and he tumbles to the ground. That seems unlikely, Monkey. Both of your fates are now mine to decide. Servo drives wine under the Tex priest's scarlet robe in a dogged but fruitless attempt to lift his body. The inferior flesh has betrayed me. You must be punished poorly, Iron Monkey. No matter. As a captive, you will learn how to apply the art of torture to make it fear the very thought of betrayal. Marazai takes a close look at your companion squirming in agony, then gestures nonchalantly to someone you cannot see. Bring the injectors. The Monkey I promised to Tervantius are among them. I do not want these wretches to move an inch until they are in the hands of the Arch Machinator. As for you, there is a disturbing gleam in the Dracon's eyes. You will share your you will have your share of paralyzing dreams too, but I'm going to keep you. You are far too precious to be surrendered to a madman playing with fire. You will rue crossing me again. Marazak clicks his tongue and shakes his head. You disappoint me, Monkey. I have heard the pleas of millions and the curses of billions. You can do better. His last words fill your head like the deafening echoes of a ship's siren. The gas creeps deeper into your lungs, eating away at them hungrily. As the agony spreads down your every limb, you are suffocating. Are you enjoying the sensation? I had this poison made for you. Who could have thought that a monkey would one day earn such an honor, a special gift from a Dracon? But you're suffering. The Xenos leans closer to you. I knew the taste would be exquisite, were I to add a touch of the Drakari's talent for extracting anguish. However, there will be time for that later. No matter how I wish to play with you all one after another, I need you for a purpose, rogue trader. Kamara awaits you, all of you. Mandrakes, take them. Leave none behind. Your consciousness emerges from an ocean of darkness and nightmares, as if someone's powerful hand reached into its depths and brought you into the light. In the dark room, long and angular shadows move around and exchange remarks. One of the shadows approaches you, ripping apart the veil of pain and revealing features that look familiar to you. You are awake, Monkey. Marzai's voice is sickeningly sweet. He is looking at you with idle interest, rolling a soft and milky-colored object from one hand to another. Our toxin masters spared no effort to drag you out of the induced dream. I must commend the nightmare weavers. The emanations of fear you exuded in your delirium are worthy of the highest praise. However, it is time to finish what you were brought here for. It is time to work for the good of the Cabal, rogue trader. What do you want from me? Only the truth, Monkey. So very simple, is it not? A little honesty before the powers that be. I have the tools to extract the most coveted mysteries from the deepest recesses of your mind, but I am not interested in your personal secrets. I only want that which will protect my Cabal. Why am I still alive? A good question, rogue trader. You are my tool, you see, a sharp and narrow scalpel that I will use to cut away the festering boil on the body of my Cabal. I spared no effort to set up this performance, the witnesses, the spies, the agents, and a small bargain to guarantee the result. All that is required of you is that you quietly play your part. I will even go as far as to put you in your native surroundings. In a manner of speaking, But if I see you stepping out of your role, I will make sure that you bitterly regret it. I might be able to play my role better if I actually knew what it was. Mara's eyes is silent for a few moments, playing with the mysterious object in his hand. You, Monkey, hate creatures alien to your kind, and this hatred is fueled by primal fear and awareness of your insignificance. To us, you are cattle that exist to be butchered and to entertain us. Sometimes we use you in our little games, but to involve you filthy brutes in the politics of Kamara, let alone infuse between the cabals, there are few worse ways to bring dishonor to oneself and one's cabal. From the first day I saw you, I knew you were being controlled by another hand, far too experienced and flexible to belong to another Monkey. You stayed ahead of me and Tazara, anticipated our moves, fought back with surprising skills, and I can guess, no, I know exactly why, how you were able to know so much. Only one creature was sufficiently aware of our tactics and raid plans. You will help me expose her and restore the reaving tempest to its former favor. I have a secret for you, something your spies and agents failed to uncover. Persuasion. Something about the tone of your voice makes Mara's eye freeze, and then come closer and lean almost into your face. His black eyes greedily devour your slightest movement, and his voice drops to a mocking whisper. Very well. I am listening, Monkey. See, is this one or this one? I like this one. Muster your strength and flash a dazzling smile. Poor fool. You were so easy to deceive. The slender fingers of the Cabalite's glove clutch at your face, the claws leaving deep scratches on your cheeks and forehead. The edge of a razor-sharp blade presses at your throat. Marazai furiously hisses something incomprehensible. But then he releases his grip, suppressing his desire to kill you on the spot with an enormous effort of willpower. The Drakari gestures to one of the shadows near you, and your head is forced backwards. Marazai brings the hand holding the strange object closer. You manage to make out translucent, glossy skin, bluish, pulsating organs beneath, and a little head with serrated jaws before the Drakari pushes the larva into your face. Sensing warmth, the creature springs into motion a moment later as it blindly pokes at your skin. It discovers your nostril and rushes forward, stretching the skin and tearing through the mucous membrane. Unbearable pain overwhelms you as the larva begins to force its way through the soft tissue and cartilage, each of its movements causing a crunching noise to reverberate through your skull. The creature greedily bites into flesh and moves ever upward, past the bridge of your nose, past your eyes, and then something alien invades your consciousness. Darkness clouds your eyes, but the sensation of an alien presence does not relent. This is not a conscious mind, but something primitive yet unbelievably strong in its unknowable pursuit. It is crawling around in your thoughts, scratching them with its sides and changing their shape. Perhaps all this is just a bad dream, a quirk of the intellect exhausted by endless troubles, a calumny of a mind too weak for the burden it was made to carry. A stray light dawns at the edge of your perception.
You
have disappointed us, rogue trader von Valancius.
I tread a path unexplored.
Lord Captain, we have received an astropathic message from Dragonis Secure Skylander who reports that a Xenos raid against a merchant ship in Gartarof's calamity. I focused all my attention on investigating the attacks across the Protectorate. I suspected that there was something bigger behind the Xenos attacks, but... Do my eyes deceive me? Explain yourself, Elentar. Why is there a shard? Okay.
Powers unseen uncover my path.
You are accused of consorting with Xenos, betraying the Imperium, and neglecting the interests of humankind.
Oh no. Pulsating strands of stretch. It's just all my homies.
Intriguing.
The Tribunal is waiting for your explanations. Come closer.
And here comes our principal witness, the rogue trader himself. Heinrichs gives you a cold look. If the presented evidence was not enough to convince you, his testimony will conclude this confusing case, full of oath-breaking lies and heresy. You dragged this boy into this trial and now expect someone will lend an ear to a lowly heretic's testimony? I thought better of you, Interrogator von Calix. I was so very wrong. Lady Theodora's voice sounds even harsher and angrier than you remember. The Lord Inquisitor makes a vaguely dismissive feature. Enough. Let him speak. The sooner this business is concluded, the better. Then let us continue. Shielded by the powers of the warrant of trade granted by the Imperium, Theodora von Valancius more than once allowed herself to openly collaborate with Xenos. You have never seen such a contemptuous grimace on the interrogator's face. She plunged her entire protectorate into apostasy and heresy, including the current rogue trader, and went out of her way to prevent the Inquisition and me personally from maintaining order inside the Expanse. Does a rogue trader admit to fraternizing with the Xenos, serving them as a puppet and rejecting the God Emperor's blessed light for the sake of this heretical for the sake of his heretical desires and base profit? Dude, I want to try this. If I have the option, I should try it. Wait. Something is wrong. Why are you all here? Where is Marazai? What happened? Ooh. The words fly from your lips, but their meaning belongs to someone else. Your hoarse voice is barely heard. I plead guilty. Oh, dang. Okay. It was amusing, but the joke was outstayed its welcome. Theodora shoots the interrogator a nasty look. It is painfully obvious this heretic is dancing into your tune. His word against mine? You had lost before you even unsheathed your blade, Heinrichs. You need not worry, dear Lord Captain. It was not my intention to bring up unsupported claims. Heinrichs produces a data slate and skillfully manipulates the device until he located the necessary information. The rogue trader has often been accompanied by a Xenos companion, and though the warrant of trade does not allow one to sanction to individual specimens, what is this if not confirmation of the von Valancius' family's loyalty to the enemies of humanity? The rogue trader's ties to the Dukari, a different subspecies of Eldari, are just too as obvious. Who else could help him divine the carefully prepared plans of the Dukari, if not other Dukari? Jin von Valancius always ended up in the location of the Dukari raid, knowing for certain where they were going to strike. The only Xenos plan I am aware of is the one where they play foul games with my head. Indeed. Xavier Calcazar shoots an interrogator an amused look. What do you think he's talking about? He is obviously trying to disrupt the trial. Jin, I suggest you watch your tongue and behave yourself, and perhaps, only perhaps, it will be enough to preserve your miserable life. The interrogator shoots you a withering glare. At this point, the tribunal probably wants to know what the true intentions of the von Valancius dynasty are. The rogue trader claims he has been waging war against the Dukari this entire time. Except, was there really a war? Or was it another carefully staged performance? Heinrichs is looking at you closely, almost without blinking. Allow me to explain what actually happened. Jin von Valancius personally invited the Dukari to his worlds and then used his strength and resources to sow chaos in the expanse, to gain leverage over his rivals. It is very convenient to play the victim while working with those who rob your neighbors, blind and terrify the worlds that pay you tribute. How much did you profit from this, rogue trader? Did you think I would not uncover your pathetic conspiracy? Enough of this circus, Heinrichs. I did not set up any attacks. Yes, rogue trader. Heinrichs addresses you through clenched teeth. You are destroying your only chance to make yourself useful to the Inquisition and to me personally. Do not attempt fate and do not resist the examination. Are you really saying your war with the Dukari was not a hoax? Then how did you and your foolish subjects know the coordinates of the enemy ships every time? How did you know their targets? Do you think your expert on all things Xenos was shrewd enough to divine the carefully devised plan of the Cabal's finest? No, only the Dukari could do that, and even then, only a few. This means you were in collusion with them. Bull-headed stubbornness does not befit a man of your pedigree, rogue trader. But since you have decided to deny everything, I will summon another witness. I am sure everyone will find it interesting to explore this sordid story from another angle. Irliet silently takes a graceful step forward. If the court so desires, my speech will run like a river and wash away your doubts. I found a shard of my home in the rogue trader's chambers. An entire craft world vanished among the stars, the only clue to its fate resting in the hands of this monkey. That was when I began to suspect that he had something to do with the misfortune that had befallen my Kruderok. Do not be deceived by his breed. There is a cunning predator lurking behind the fluttering of fragile butterfly wings. The monkey before you is a bizarre amalgamation of qualities not usually inherent in his feeble species. He has mastered the mysteries of many of this world's cultures, the secrets of the universe and ancient artifacts, the fine art of war, the intricacies of deceit. All are embodied in a single monkey, however hard it may be to believe. However, the thread that bound our paths broke the moment I realized the monkey's involvement in the disappearance of my home. To flee the rogue trader, I tracked down and eliminated his chief tracker, who has pursued our kin in this part of the galaxy for many years, and thus earned clemency before this court. So, Achilles did not simply vanish. You helped him disappear. Heinrichs nods curtly. I say he had only himself to blame. An agent who cannot recognize an impeding threat is useless. Heinrichs nods with satisfaction, noticing your reaction, or rather, the lack of it. The court has been presented with enough evidence, and I hope no one is harboring any doubts so the guilty of the von Valancius dynasty. But let us allow the rogue trader to say his final word. We are all curious to know what you have gleaned from this inquiry. What does this mean? I am nothing but a puppet in this charade. Everything that has taken place at this trial is a vicious lie. Now I see I've been blind. The Xenos have been fighting one another all this time, and I was their unwitting cat's paw. What does unwitting mean? I don't know what unwitting means. To do something unintentionally, accidentally, or without being aware of what you were doing. Now I see that I have been blind. The Xenos have been fighting one another all this time, and I was their cat's paw. Good, Monkey. After the spell is lifted, staggering pain pierces your body, darkness clouds your vision, and nausea creeps up your throat, but the wounds you manage to forget soon remind you that you are still alive. The weakness of your subjects is an insult to the Council of Archons and the Supreme Overlord of Kamara himself, Ramirez. The commanding, inhuman voice tears you from the vice of agony, and you see an unknown Drakari in the center of the chamber whose presence alone causes your insides to clench. Instead of fighting and ripping what they are owed from Destiny's hands by force, they dare to crawl into the dark palace begging for favors. Listen to the conversation. With the greatest respect, mighty Rakai, Archon of the Cabal of the Black Heart, first among the chosen, voice of the Overlord of the Dark City, brighter, bringer of demise, conqueror of 100 worlds. Nazrakai dismisses Marazai like a bothersome fly. The Council of Archons has heard enough platitudes. Drakon Marazai no longer wishes to. Sly intrigues, ruthless chill to jagged ice, turns lips. Of vitral verbose, the cut and thrust keep time with fate owns machinations grave, but whose deft footwork leads to naught but dust, while from its brutal finish none can save. This play the puppet master granted me, through murky stalls a path obligingly. The puppet master has Vect himself invited you to this chamber? The Archon chokes on his words, but quickly regains his composure. No matter. You may be our guest, our Rebanian, but you are merely a spectator in this performance. And spectators do not belong on the stage, as you undoubtedly know. Do not interfere. The stranger presses a delicate finger to the lips of his sorrowful mask and says with a twinkle in his eye, "A shadow in the shadows will I be." Look at the Eldari. The bright motley, the hollow suit, the mask hiding its owner's face, and the graceful subtle movements. Before you stands a harlequin, another representative of the multifaceted Eldari race. The Xenos catches your eye and nods. For a moment, the play of shadows on the mask appears to twist its expression into a mischievous grin. Listen to the conversation. The Archon addresses the female Drakari standing beside him, his eyes alight with mockery, not directed at her, however, for he is still looking at Marazai. How does the Archon intend to pay for her cabal's blatant disrespect? I am waiting for your reply, your Ramaris, and my patience is growing thinner with each breath you take. Marazai's eyes widen, filled with astonishment and disbelief. He seems to have been certain of the outcomes and did not expect what he is hearing now. His lips twist in an enraged snarl, hatred directed at the Xenos on the throne, and yet it finds no outlet under the gazes of the dozens of Drakari in the chamber. I humbly bow before the Council of Archons and apologize for this outburst on behalf of the Cabal. Allow me to prove my respect to you with a humble gift. Your Remaris points at you with a clawed finger and flashes a satisfied grin. The Drakon of the Cabal of the Reaving Tempest himself and his amusing Monkey plaything with their entourage of hapless freaks will enter your arenas and fight the best warriors for the crowd's amusement. A muffled chuckle can be heard from under the Nazrakai's mask. Kamara accepts your gift, your Remaris, but what should I do? For Marazai is the first among your blades. Should I cast him out of the palace and condemn him to disgrace? Or should I be merciful and allow him to leave the chamber on his own? The Archon's chilling gaze falls upon you. I think I know who will make this difficult decision, a creature whose mewling the Council of Archons was meant to heed. Is this not right, Marazai? You will receive what you have been longing for. It will be the Monkey who decides your fate. Marazai's face contorts in despair. His gaze shifts from the Archon to you, then to Remaris, and back, but he does not dare to utter an objection. I'm just gonna say nothing. The lesser races are distinguishedly primitive. The Archon of the Cabal of the Black Heart addresses Marazai, ignoring your words. The Monkey cannot even decide the fate of its enemy, and you were hoping that someone here would lend an ear to its words. Amusing. The arenas of Kamara will devour you and your playthings. With a hiss of rage, Marazai draws his blade, preparing to fight back. The Archon nods in satisfaction and makes an unfamiliar gesture. The guards draw closer to you. Let us return to you, Iremeris. Didn't even have to do anything, and down goes Marazai. The Harlequin's laughter interrupts the Archon and echoes under the vaults of the chamber in a resounding baritone. And all the masts upon their marks now stand. The slave of vanity, the spire ascends. The thief and traitor cast downward by her hand. Unbeknownst to all, their fate depends upon a lead unseen, a player green. The Harlequin leans forward and eyes you with genuine interest. Is this how you treat the hospitality of Kamara, Arbenian? The Archon angrily balls his fist, the shadow of his wrath hanging over the Eldarian interloper like a thundercloud. I thought your words were worth more. You insult me by interrupting the trial again. A Xenos sweeps into a theatrical bow without taking his eyes off Nazrakai's face. You, Archon, speak a just rebuke in truth. Fate's melodies and snarls fantastic have entrapped me here, and when I heard them play, I could not keep my lips from grinning wide. Here comes the hour for shadows to retreat, to where the curtain awaits to rise. The laugh, with no beginning, now sends forth the call. The world is an impenetrable haze of warm pain. You lie motionless. No, you rest in the murky gloom, slowly dissolving into nothingness. Sometimes your repose is troubled by unpleasant and persistent tremors coming from the place where your legs used to be. You do your best to ignore them. Away, you vulture. This is not your prey. A vaguely familiar voice reaches you through the curtain of darkness, but your disobedient thoughts refuse to reveal where and when you have heard it before. Was it just recently, or 100 lifetimes ago? The trembling coming from your legs is replaced with a violent jerking motion, and then it finally stops. From this phantasmagoria retreat and deftly seize my merchant vagabond. The puppet master strings left dangling again rise up to take your place and dance. A spark ignites in the darkness, and its light ruthlessly cuts through the gloom that envelops you. An ugly image of the reality around you assaults your retina. You can feel your body again and realize it is filled with pain. Your shoulder is sore from an injection. Till I get a cup of recaf, my vital status is yet to be determined. Alas, the bliss of death will save you not. The whirling waltz of chance and gloom you'll dance. A prickling sensation burns your shoulder, and the darkness at last fully withdraws from your mind. Whatever the injection was, it was making your heart beat in a frenzied tattoo, and your pupils narrow so that you now register every detail of the disgusting place in which you have found yourself in merciless clarity. Feel your body fail. Every single inch of your body is suffering. Satisfied with this result, You do not delve into detailed examination of your misfortune. Dang, rough go today. All your equipment is gone, as are your shoes. You do not even have a knife at hand to fend off enemies or to open your veins. Where am I? Among the shadows, in the wings you lie, where taut are pulled the puppet master's strings. The stranger intricately links his fingers to mimic the tools of a puppeteer. My companions, where are they? Not here. The roles have been decided now, but if you play your part, perhaps the plot will draw you back together, or to doom. The figure's cruel laughter follows. This overture in reverse, the final lines, the merchant's time to tread the boards has come. Embark you now upon your pilgrimage, and take my parting gift, a humble prop. The stranger deposits something in your hand and disappears into the twilight. Gift from beyond the grave. Attempt to rise. Your body has suffered too much to obey your mind, or rather, that is how it would have been for someone else. Perhaps, but not for you. You have lived through worse. Anguish and torture could never break you now. You will rise to your feet and press on. All that is left to understand is why you should. Remember all those people whose lives depend on you. Isn't this permanent? Oh, yeah. Hundreds of faces flash before your mind's eye, friends, subjects, and companions. The universe is cruel and full of darkness, and your will and determination are the only barrier between your loved ones and its crushing apathy and brutality. You have no right to die, not here and now. Resoluteness floods your veins like incandescent plasma, and you make another attempt to get up. You get up. Yes, your body aches and rebels against you, but your tempered mind is stronger than mortal flesh. You draw yourself up straight and take in your surroundings. You fool, do you have a death wish? That's why they came here to get people.
I shall not be deterred. The world trembles beneath my feet.
The den you have found yourself in is filled with a heady smoke, and the walls are lined with living shadows. The center of attention is a snake like Xenos. He is engaged in conversation with a pale, harried-looking Drakari and pays you no mind, much like everyone else in here. You've heard of this breed of Xenos, the Slith. These creatures can often be found in the entourage of powerful Drakari lords, where they serve as bodyguards and champions. They are just as depraved and vicious as their masters, but theirs is a more primitive intellect, and they are driven by baser needs. Everyone gathered here is armed. They all bear scars and some even fresh wounds. You notice a few humans among the Xenos. They clamor in a mishmash of tongues, and their laughter rings with lunacy and bloodlust. The air is thick with an all-pervading sense of doom. Your trained eye does not fail to notice that virtually everyone in this place is under the influence of some substance or another, and powerful ones at that. It seems you have wound up in a narcotics den. Service skills. The leader of this gang is powerfully built. His scaled hide is reinforced with engraved metal in several spots. His long tail coils around and around as his snake-like head sways gently from side to side. The Xenos is enjoying a state of blissful relaxation. His companion, the gaunt Drukhari, is looking at him obsequiously. Her entire body is adorned with hundreds of embedded steel beads and thousands of red injector marks. Address them. May we speak? The snake-like Xenos either fails to notice your presence or is simply ignoring you. Iridescent eyelid membranes slide over his eyes, momentarily shattering them. No doubt a telling look among his kind. Without deigning to look at you, the cadaverous Drukhari mutters, "Malice wants you to disappear, pathetic worm. Whelp." I can pay you handsomely for your assistance. You have nothing. Don't waste my time. The Xenos keeps his attention focused on the Drukhari, but his scaled fingers, holding an elegant-looking injector, clench in displeasure. He speaks slowly and indolently, like a snake about to enter brumation. I will render valuable services in exchange for assistance. What use could you be to me? The Xenos yawns sleepily, his mouth opening disproportionately wide. But if you wish to serve, I have a task for you. The den's temperature is controlled by an atmospheric convector. The scavenger who sold it to me forgot to mention it was faulty. Unfortunately for him, he was unable to repair it. Now the scavenger is dead, and I have to suffer the discomfort. My race is cold-blooded. We like our nests warm. None of my gang have a knack for hardware, so if you can fix the convector, I'll take pity on you. Smug and mocking, Malice stares at you unblinking. I'm up to the task, but you're just mocking me, aren't you, by giving me this grubby little job? Why shouldn't I? I'm allowed to enjoy myself. Or perhaps it's just that I don't believe you're capable of anything more. Let's see. He gestures with his fingers imperiously as if dismissing you. The motion is slow and full of sweet sluggishness.
The world will bow. Embrace true power. Predictable.
Let's seize the opportunity. Ah, a bitter taste of defeat. Perfection.
Wasting no time, you approach the scaled ringleader of this rabble. The Xenos is clearly more comfortable now. The sleepy torpor induced by the low temperature has been replaced with the languid ease of an undisputed leader in his element. Lovely day we're having, isn't it? He casts a sidelong glance at you and says skeptically, "Not for you, by the looks of it." You're right. I could use the services of a healer. So go and look for them elsewhere. The convector has been repaired. Help me. Why should I? Malice looks at you with contempt. The convector's fixed already. What's the point in me helping you? The little strength you had left in your body has run out. You collapse to the floor, and the darkness that nearly extinguished your mind permanently envelops your vision once more. Through the drumbeat of your heart, you hear Malice's voice from somewhere far away. Fine. Patch up the humanling. He's proven to be more useful than the rest of you put together. Sensation slowly returns to you. Your body is still in pain, but you are no longer on the brink of death. Your wounds have been crudely closed with metal clamps, and your throat is pocked with injector tracks, as though you have been wearing a neck pillow of needles. The one who rendered this first aid to you was certainly not a qualified chirurgeon, someone who would typically be permitted to minister the person of the illustrious rogue trader. It looks like you're back with us. I don't know whether to offer my congratulations or commiserations. Thank you for your help. I do not want your thanks, human being. You will earn back every stimulant I spent on you. As soon as you stand up, you are seized by a strange sense of unreality. It is as if you are still there in the wicked darkness, and everything around you is merely a twisted mirage. Doubt seeps into your mind like a poison, sundering its contact with you, your body. You have to make a deliberate effort to hold on to the thought that you are you. What? Is your mind maggot giving you trouble? I saw it latch onto your spinal cord when you were being patched up. A fat, well-fed grub it was, with lots of teeth. It's dying now. They have a short lifespan, and that means its poison is especially toxic. You lose touch with reality from time to time, and when the mind maggot dies, the final dose of poison will make you think your body is not your body at all, and then your heart will just stop beating. I could have pulled that thing out of you, of course, but I thought, why should I? Consider it a guarantee of your gratitude towards me. When you've earned your healing, I'll release you from it. The lipless mouth stretches into a bloodthirsty grin. Why did you decide to help me in the end? You're a cocky whelp, but feeble like all members of your race. Your cockiness has not got you killed yet, which means you must be someone important, and you might be useful. What do you want from me? Kill for me. Go into the mangled sector and find a freak called the Commissar, one of your kind, and spill his guts for me. Do that, and you will earn my favor. And in the chasm, that counts for a lot. I'm going to need a more serious weapon. Prove that you're useful first. Do this, and Malice will see that you have decent toys to play with, but not before. In the meantime, you can pick something out of the junk pile. Malice gestures at a container half full of shoddy equipment. The Mangled Sector. What an off-putting name. It's an off-putting place. It's the base of the spire in which we live. Kamara is stitched together from scraps of various dimensions, and in the Mangled Sector, the seams are starting to rip. Space is collapsing in on itself, and entropic radiation is off the scale, spawning all kinds of abominations, and the sector itself is slowly but surely turning into nothing. Some unhinged humanling went there recently. What did they call him? Saurian? He was old but strong and too loud. His visit probably stirred up all the freaks. You should be more careful and quieter than he was. You'd have to be insane to set foot in a place like that. Insane, or an outcast like the Commissar, hiding from the hunt, or you. Who is this Commissar? A prisoner of the Drakari who thinks too highly of himself. Instead of dying in the arena without any fuss, he is hiding, gathering other slaves of your race around him, and making pathetic plans to get his revenge. And many of your kind are listening to him. See how few humanling shriekers there are? They all used to all come to me, but now they listen to the Commissar and no longer come. Why do you want me to do it? I don't want to drag my whole gang into the Mangled Sector. The place will kill off 3 times more fighters than the Commissar's crew will. That means I need to send in an assassin. The Commissar's fighters know my shriekers, but nobody knows you. Besides, you don't have a choice, which means you'll see it through to the end. Very well. I will kill him. Bring me his head, and in exchange I will share my toys with you. They make surviving the Kamara possible.
I tread a path unexplored.
Abelard! I'm coming, Abelard!
Ruinous favor prevails.
You barely recognize your loyal seneschal, Abelard Worsarian, in his pitiful hunchbacked figure, his officer's bearing, his broad shoulders, his direct and piercing gaze, all gone without a trace. What you see before you is a decrepit, quivering old man rummaging through malodorous refuse and mumbling under his breath. It takes you a second to make sense of his hoarse lisp. Katharina, love, white amasek, and fruits. Of course, love. The children are making mischief again. Katharina, where are you? The old man's frail voice is laden with tenderness and longing. Oh, Katharina. Abelard laughs faintly and immediately launches into a bout of coughing. Deep lines run across his face, and a blurry film of cataracts clouds his eyes. The drive stem are at it again. Another council session, another appeal to their legitimacy. They will never be satisfied, love, until they make us and our children disappear. Perhaps we should just give in. You always say that Dargonis is not your home, love. Abelard is looking past you at someone only he can see. There is a timid smile on his trembling lips. Would you like that, love? Would you rather leave it all behind? Go somewhere far away, away from our toils? This is crazy. I like this one. Seneschal. The Addendum Perfectorium Militarum to the Tactica Imperium states that any army officer of the Imperium who submits to third-degree Xeno influence or higher is to be considered a traitor and a heretic. I will have no heretics under my command, Seneschal. I order you to conquer this illusion at once. Get to it, officer. Abelard flinches, his brow furrows, and a glow lights up his watering eyes. Heretic? I recommend that you brush up on your regulations before accusing an officer. The Addendum Premium Arrendum abolished the Xeno-influence categorization, and therefore, his vision somewhat cleared, Abelard looks at you and takes a shuddering breath. Saint's blood, Lord Captain, you're alive. With a groan, Abelard tries to straighten his hunched back. Thank the God Emperor, death has not found you yet. Then again, given the circumstances, it may be for the worse. I, for one, have had enough of this heap of filth. It is time to move, Abelard. I could not agree more, Lord Captain. I serve House von Valencius. Abelard salutes you with a shaking hand, and a ghost of his usual stern expression returns to his wrinkled face.